It's this gorgeous castle that stands out amongst all of the landscape, surrounded by green rolling hills, and the ruins themselves and the way that the light pours in through all the little pockets and cracks and bricks just created a really strong atmosphere that I could visualize going forward for the shoot. I think photography is a large part of my identity. Being an artist is a huge part of who I am. It's kind of been my focus ever since I could pick up a pen. My first memory of starting to engage with photography came from sitting in my mum's work. She was a hairdresser, and after school I'd go and sit in her salon for 5 or 6 hours in the evenings, and obviously twiddling my thumbs, I'd flick through all the fashion magazines that were left out on the side and all the hairdressing magazines, which definitely started to pique my interest in photography. I just didn't know how to access it and how to become a part of that. I kind of stumbled upon fashion photography at Leeds Arts University, and as soon as I started the course, I fell in love with it instantly. I always try and capture the mood and the atmosphere of a place through my use of colour and natural light. And I think doing this and kind of making my practice as an escape for myself and a moment to reflect and pause means that it's truly, for me, being emotive in the environment. It's often these moments of pause that I find myself noticing smaller things, and I guess that's what I like about shooting on film specifically. The tactility of the process and how it makes me slow down as I take my photographs. It makes me pause and reflect on what it is that I'm capturing. I like my work to kind of transport my audience to somewhere familiar, but somewhere that they might not recognise through the way I've photographed it or through the atmosphere that I've created. I think it's important to look after our heritage as a sense of belonging, a sense of identity. Heritage is always going to be important to inform the work that we make and the connections that we make going forward. I think especially as we come into this late age of the individualist. Looking into the history of the North, and often something I had once I'd moved up to Yorkshire over from the Northwest was this idea of joining the right side of the rose. And I kind of wanted to explore that more. I thought this would be a really interesting time to reflect upon this narrative in particular, as it has so many similarities with what we are going through now, and its relevance today is still as important as ever. And this kind of led me on this journey of wanting to tell a refreshed narrative that kind of looked at more of the untold side of the War of the Roses, you know, this fight and this battle of loneliness and, you know, the wealth disparity all the women bared the brunt of as they carried through these armies of travelling towns. So once we got the project going, we were having a couple of meetings back and forth with English Heritage, and we came to looking at Middleham Castle in Middleham, that everyone in the village is involved with the castle. Everyone knows what's going on. It's kind of like a little bit of a neighbourhood watch, all protecting and looking over the castle. And that just really resonated with me, especially when it came to me wanting to celebrate these northern communities. I went into this project and concept knowing that I wanted to shoot an all-female team. Doing all my research and watching all these reinterpretations of the narrative and the ways in which they'd been portrayed previously, it was an entirely white male-dominated cast, but there was this untold narrative of all the women in the War of the Roses. You've got Margaret of Anjou and you've got Margaret Beaufort, and as I started to find more of these stories of inspiring women, I really wanted to bring that to the forefront of my narrative. It's important to me to, now representing the North, make sure that the North is celebrated and inclusive and reflects the diversity of all the people residing here. And the North is so beautiful, there's so much to offer in its landscape and the communities that we have here. This was the first grant that I'd applied for, and to be selected for it and to do something that I was so passionate about and so intrinsically connected with was it was just a validating experience. And throughout this project, it's given me time not only to, delve into a history-based project and do more research, but it's also given me time to reflect on my own practice and the direction I want to take and the kind of work that I want to create going forward from this. This is something that I think I'll carry with me as an experience for a long time. I think it's taught me a lot about myself and my practice.